Warning, this is for entertainment purposes only. I guess I need to start saying that now. Anyway, listen, maybe you're familiar with Graham Hancock, right? I first seen him, like this clip here on, or was first made aware of him through Joe Rogan, right? And he's a writer who has all of these different theories that he talks about. So tonight's conspiracy compilation is going to mainly consist on different conspiracy theories from him. Let's get to it.
Of course, no cosmic event could have made the dinosaurs extinct. They spent 10 years taking that ridicule until they found the crater in the Gulf of Mexico. Since then, the whole scientific community has accepted that the course of life on this planet was radically changed by a cosmic impact. And, I like to joke about it, but it was a cosmic impact that was big enough, literally, to turn dinosaurs into chickens.
Controversial topic right there. Definitely. Because you'll hear some people say, okay, it never happened. Some people will talk about the oxygen levels and different things like that is the reason being for the different size of the animals that we have now. You know what I mean? Some people will point to science and say, no, man, all of these fossils we found, it did actually happen. We were hit by something that catastrophically ended and took away all of the dinosaurs that we know and love. We wouldn't have loved them if we was around back then, but you know what I mean? A fascination. Dude, have y'all noticed that? Ever since a kid, I don't think my fascination with dinosaurs has ever left. I was a T-Rex guy myself. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I was fascinated. But back to him saying that. Mass extinctions. Mass extinctions. Or did they just evolve and get smaller? What do you think? Evolution is always going to create, I think, a controversial topic for some of us. You know what I mean? Some people just don't flat out want to hear it. Some people, it goes against religion and different things for them. So they kind of toe that line of wanting to listen, but not wanting to go against their religion, different things like that. So I don't know. Let's keep going though.
Because that's what's left of the dinosaur line is, the birds.
Yeah.
And at the same time, skulking in those primeval forests is this little mammal. And it looks a bit like a shrew. 65 million years ago. Going nowhere. Dinosaurs rule the earth. Then the cosmos intervenes. The dinosaurs are swept out of the way. And what happens? The mammals start to evolve very rapidly. And they start to occupy niches that were previously closed to them. And the bottom line is, we would not be here. The human species would not be here. We would not be having this conversation if the dinosaurs had not been made extinct 65 million years ago. Of course.
I can't argue with them there. I think that too, just for a simple reason, like dinosaurs were just ruthless. You know what I mean? Or at least that's what they told us. So imagine us trying to coexist. Not saying that we could, not saying we wouldn't be smart enough to survive, but do y'all think we would be where we are today? Heck no. No way. Bro, dinosaurs, fam, it ain't like we could just go hide up in a cave somewhere. And that would probably be our greatest chances of survival. You know what I mean? Possibly high up in a tree somewhere or deep in a cave. Deep in a cave. And we would be defending ourselves constantly. But he makes a good point with that. What do you think? If dinosaurs did not go extinct, would we be here? He made another point about evolution of the animals. Now, if you've ever read anything or looked into that, you notice that animals adapt just like we do. They adapt to their environments. I've heard of instances where their beaks kind of change depending on what they used to eat and maybe what they eat now. And different things about their bodies will change to adapt to that type of stuff, different things. You know what I'm saying? So I wholeheartedly believe in that whole evolution thing. I mean, continue to look at us. What do we constantly do? We evolve. We evolve. If there's one great thing about us, humans, is that we evolve. So I don't knock him on that. But let's hear some more conspiracy theories from Mr. Hancock.
I see down there, just underneath deGrasse Tyson, there's another passage of thoughts on flat Earth conspiracy theories in general. I have to say, The Earth is not flat. I just have no doubt about that. It's an unnecessary thing. What is it? Even if it was flat, who cares? I mean, we're here as a...
What do you mean, who cares, bro? They are gonna roast you. Fam, anytime I even speak of that, bro, it's a long, drawn out process of speaking to somebody about whether the earth is round or flat. I so hope Elon Musk one day just has some kind of way. Why am I putting all the faith in Elon? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But I just hope one day he gets an opportunity to prove to us, you know, him, Jeff Bezos, whomever, I don't care who it is. Pick a person. Here's the blank. I hope blank shows us whether and stick whatever billionaire or whoever you want to in that blank. But I hope one of them shows us whether or not the earth is flat or round. And I want to be around for that day, bro. Especially if I'm right, because I'm on the side of the earth is not flat. I'm on that side. So if I could be around for that, bro, glory.
We're here to live our lives and hopefully to live them well. But the earth is not flat. And the ancients knew this. The ancients knew this forever. The ancient Egyptians knew this. Everybody knows that the earth is not flat. You just need to stand on a cliff and look at a distant ocean horizon and see a ship come towards you, and you'll see the funnel of the ship first before you see the deck of the ship. I see down there.
True. But what did he say about the ancient Egyptians? Weren't we just talking about they were pretty well knowledgeable of the cosmos and different things like that? Wasn't we just saying that? How did they get that knowledge and information? I think that's where lies the question. That's the question for me. How did they get that? Were they as far as we are in technology and different things? Or how were they able to tell? Where did that information and knowledge come from? A lot of y'all think like me. Was it the Anunnaki?
Now, the Great Pyramid of Giza is probably the most stunning of all these ancient structures. How do you think they did that?
Well, some of them, the granite in the Great Pyramid comes from more than 500 miles to the south. Those blocks on the roof of the King's Chamber weigh 70 tons each. Now,
how did they even? I know people talking about they transported it via water and stuff like that, and it was a lot of people. Some people believe that they used workers, you know what I mean, different ones to do all of this type of stuff. They had tons of people, but let's not the weight on that stuff. The weight. Yes, they had massive amount of numbers of people, but traveling that far with that type, with that weight.
Now, Egyptologists will tell you that, they could move heavy blocks because they put them on wet sand and they push them along on wet sand. Well, maybe if you're just at ground level, that will do. But when you're 350 feet above the ground, as you are in the King's Chamber, that won't do at all. I don't know how they did it. All I think we're looking, again, at a lost technology. And it was this ancient apocalypse 12,800 years ago that wiped that from the human memory banks almost completely, not entirely completely because there were survivors.
Now, the Great Pyramid of Giza is...
I've seen the pictures, maybe you guys have seen them too, the pictures of different pulley systems. So you see a bunch of people pulling these huge blocks, huge, and they're pulling them by hand in these pictures, these historic pictures that you see floating around the internet. And I always sat back and was like, okay, that's how y'all gonna tell me we did that? That's how y'all gonna tell me we got this done? Okay, I'll roll with it. But I'm not 100% sold on that. That's a lot of labor. A lot of labor. And then like he said, they showed, and also in those pictures, they show them going up steep slopes around the pyramid as they're building it, kind of going in an upward motion. And I'm like, yo, gravity alone? Like, you see the same amount of people pulling this stuff. As you go up, you're gonna need more people, fam. Those same 20 or however many people that are pulling at this level, A lot more is going to be needed at this level with gravity pulling against you. Or the people, good people at CERN was had CERN going on back then, and they was able to turn gravity on and off. If you believe that CERN is somehow in control of gravity, I've heard those theories. You know what I mean? But yeah, how do you keep? And then I've heard the stories of people saying different animals and stuff like that. Man, them animals would have rolled over and played sleep if they had to do that every day. I don't care. You show me a camel. I don't care what you show me, bro. It ain't that many animals to get all of that. You see the pyramids? How tall, huge the pyramids are. Like, come on, man. Them camels would have left fast. You think they slow now? They'd have been fast getting out of there. Stop it, y'all.
Did Graham Hancock manage to convince you that there was a lost civilization at the end of the last ice age? If he did, that's fine, because Graham Hancock is a very convincing man. But the problem is Graham Hancock isn't telling you the whole story, because when his theories are exposed to the slightest bit of pressure, they fall apart faster than you can say mainstream academia. Last week, we exposed the lies of Graham Hancock's first 2 episodes, in a video which not only made it to the trending page, but is also now the first thing that comes up on YouTube if you search Ancient Apocalypse.
Oh, I gotta check that out. I like that. I like a good debunk. I'm gonna start looking up some of those too, man. Some theories getting debunked. I don't think we should just look at theories. I think we need to look at theories being debunked as well. We gotta balance both sides of it. You know what I mean? We can't just listen to the theories. We gotta hear both sides of it. So I'm down for that if y'all are too. Let's do it.
Get absolutely dunked on, Graham Hancock. Did I hear someone say ding ding? Because it's time for round 2. Tonight I'm going to be explaining how Graham Hancock got confused by this pile of rocks, has a loose understanding of what the sun is, and trusts modern satellite imagery less than a map that was drawn 500 years ago by a guy sailing around the world in a wooden ship with a goddamn pencil. So if you do truly believe in Graham Hancock's theory, you should have no problem hearing an opposing viewpoint. But hey, if you don't want to, I totally understand. Challenging your viewpoints can be uncomfortable and scary. Analyzing Ancient Apocalypse Part 2 premieres tonight at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on my YouTube channel. Same username. Let's dance, Grammy boy, I can do this all day. Did Graham...
I rock with him. I like him, man. I like him. But let me pose this for some of y'all who are familiar with Graham Hancock. Like I said, I've seen a lot of his stuff through Joe Rogan. That's where I watched a lot of his videos and stuff at, right? And to me, he never came off as like he, you know what I mean? He knows it all. He never did that. It's just always been theories based upon some knowledge. We all do that, don't we? I do that. But there's no possible way for me to scour every piece of information that's out here made via the web, internet, books, everything. There's no possible way. If it was based upon that, then none of us should ever talk. We should never, ever talk. The thing is, I think the most important thing is the conversation. What Graham does is spark conversation, create dialogue, and make you go back and look. Maybe you find something he never saw. If you do, then wasn't that reason for you to go look? Wasn't that sparked by Graham Hancock? Because maybe you didn't believe something he said? So that's the way I always look at it. I don't necessarily think that what he said is concrete and this is the end all be all. No. Can't do it like that. But I do take what he says. He may create or spark an idea in me. He may prompt me to go look at something or look up something or research something, and then I find it. Or I get something different than what he does. And then I can bring that back to y'all. We can make a video go viral, and then more people will come back with their information. And that's how this thing continues to build till we get to the right answer. That's what it's about, to me.
British journalist Graham Hancock's Ancient Apocalypse, the archaeology-themed series, garnered an impressive 24.62 million hours of viewing in its first week of release. Hancock's show speculates that a crashing...
So I guess he's got a good bit of people listening to him. So back to what I was just saying. He's sparking a lot of minds. He's getting through to a lot of people, and not all of those people are going to believe him. But what I guarantee you, some of those or most of those people are doing is researching now. He's probably sparked a few minds to go do their own research. That's a good thing. That's how you develop, or that's how you spark the next level of researchers, archaeologists. Oh, I can never get that word out. Archaeologists, Why I can't get that word out? Forget that word. Remove it out of the dictionary. I hate it. You know what I mean? Archaeology, I can say that. Archaeologist, there it is. Found it. Moving on. You know what I'm saying? He can spark that next generation of scientists, researchers, conspiracy theories. He can do that because he has the reach, and he should continue to do what he's doing. I like it.
Crashing comet destroyed Atlantis, or a similar lost civilization 13,000 years ago in a series of events remembered as the Great Flood. According to Hancock, survivors of the calamity spread around the world, which was then populated by simple hunter-gatherers, bringing them science, technology, agriculture, and monumental architecture. Hancock, who has been promoting these ideas in his books for decades, argues that archaeologists have deliberately covered up this catastrophic vision of civilization spread and accuses mainstream academia of its extremely defensive, arrogant, and patronizing attitudes. British journal...
I like that. I like that. I can't knock that, man. Because I always feel like when it comes to the research and knowledge, I feel like a lot of things get suppressed because it's not what they want us to look into. It's not what they want us to believe. It's not what they want us to know. So in order to control us, you paint a narrative. You paint a narrative to where that stuff is fake. You paint a narrative where that stuff could not be possible. You paint all those narratives so that they can continue to try to control us the way they want us, or steer us in the direction they want us to go in.
I had this guy, Graham Hancock, on, and he was talking to me about all the different shit that they're finding in the Amazon and in South America, and that there used to be 20 million people that lived in the Amazon, and they died off because of sickness. Apparently, Europeans, when they came in like the 1500s, they would tell these incredible stories about these huge civilizations in the Amazon. But then when explorers came back 200 years later, there was nothing there. They didn't lie. What happened was smallpox ran through the jungle and killed everybody. Then the jungle just overtook these cities, and now they're finding these cities with something called LiDAR. They use these planes and they circle over this area and they shoot this LiDAR. It's like laser radar, and it gives you a detailed image of what's below the surface and what's there. And it shows them all these crazy structures, roadways and irrigation systems and circles inside of a square. Like, it was villages and cities, and millions of people probably lived there.
I ain't a lot of y'all. That makes sense. That makes sense of how the animals were able to run rampant. If we were still there, possibly a lot of that stuff doesn't happen because we need to. I hate to say it, we destroy things. So we would have destroyed a lot of that forest and rainforest for us to grow and advance and do different things. So possibly the animals wouldn't have been able to run as rampant as they did. Well, as they are, you know what I mean? So that could have possibly been a thing. And it makes sense too when you think about how it looks. He showed the picture of the structure, like a cement structure of a home that was built or whatever it was, and how the trees has just overtaken that. And then somebody once said, because I've come to know that they say like the Amazon rainforest is important, has become important to our world as far as the air we breathe and different things like that. They said that the Amazon is very important to us, but they also said it didn't always used to be that way. So when he says that, you know what I mean, we once were there in a whole bunch of civilizations, then that would make sense and align with what they were saying about the Amazon. It didn't always used to be that way, but now it is. So now possibly that the trees and different things have taken over, maybe that's what caused it to become so important.
what happens to us after death and what we need to do in this life to ensure beneficial outcome. In the Amazon, it involves ayahuasca and the belief that the ayahuasca journey takes you to the afterlife realm and a journey along the Milky Way. In the Mississippi Valley, particularly Moundville, exactly the same system of religious ideas, that on death, the soul ascends to the constellation of Orion, transits from the constellation of Orion to the Milky Way, makes a journey along the Milky Way, which they call the Path of Souls, and encounters challenges and ordeals where the soul must account for the life that it has lived. Then
I wonder how long that takes. Everything in space takes a long time, especially when they start talking light years to get from one planet to the other. So in his theory of transition, we'll call it transition, I wonder how long that would possibly take then. Interesting.
Then we go to Egypt, the same system of ideas. As far as we know, none of these cultures were in contact with one another. Either we're dealing with a huge, unbelievable, extraordinarily detailed coincidence, or we're looking at a legacy that was inherited in all of these different places from a remote common ancestor. What happens to us after death? And
see, this is what some people believe in their religions. And this is possibly the discrepancy in some religions, stuff like that. What happens to you? And then if you think back, if you go back to where, like I was saying before, the way they used to go about your transition, just think about it. How they would prepare you to go into your transition, whether they buried you with cats, which they thought of or saw as sacred, animals, jewels, different things. You know what I'm saying? Where they placed you also was important. So when you think about it, man, he could be really on to something just going based upon what we know from history. Y'all like, this stuff don't excite, man. Please, bro. This stuff gets me going just thinking about this stuff because I don't know, man. I find it very, very interesting. Moving on. Let's keep going.
Hancock, a British author and journalist, is known for his controversial theories concerning ancient civilizations and human history. His perspectives often blend historical facts, mythology, and fringe ideas, making them both intriguing and controversial. This video explores the 10 craziest conspiracy theories proposed by Hancock. Number 1. The mystery of the pyramids. Graham Hancock's views on the Egyptian pyramids, particularly the Great Pyramid of Giza, are unconventional to say the least. He postulates that these monumental structures are much older than mainstream historians believe. In his view, these pyramids, specifically the Great Pyramid of Giza, could not have been built by the Egyptians.
See, look what I'm saying. Look what I'm saying. I was talking about pictures, but he actually got where they kind of recreated the scene. You know what I mean? But look at that, right? And then think about the size they were talking about and the weight of some of those things. And then look all the way up there at the top. At the top. As the view, and like I said, we all got to use our imagination because we don't really know if this how it was, but just going based upon this, right? The higher you go up there, it looks like the narrower it gets. So you're probably going to lose people. People are probably going to drop off. But you know what's not going to drop off? That weight. That weight, bro. The weight of that stuff. That's not going to drop off. So, I ain't trying to say, you know what I mean, that this way wasn't possible. This would definitely take the longest. And if I was sitting around trying to decide, I'm king, I'm ruler, whatever, and I'm sitting around trying to decide a way to build the pyramid, this would be like last ditch effort for me. I'm trying to figure out another way better and easier than this. You know what I mean? So,
of the Fourth Dynasty, around 2600 BC, as conventional Egyptology suggests. Hancock points to the incredible precision and astronomical alignments of the pyramids, arguing that such accomplishments require a level of knowledge and technology that the ancient Egyptians did not possess. He suggests that the design, construction, and geographical alignment of the pyramids indicate a far more advanced civilization was responsible, one that existed thousands of years before the ancient Egyptians. Furthermore, Hancock argues that the Great Pyramid's geographic location has cosmological significance. The pyramid is located at the exact center of Earth's land masses, something he believes is unlikely to be a mere coincidence. He also draws attention to the fact that the pyramid's measurements correlate with astronomical constants, such as the speed of light.
Now, is that coincidence? And that's one thing also I love about him. He has basically a lot of evidence supporting his facts, right? So some people, they're going to get on and then they're going to call themselves this physicist or whatever they want to call themselves, scientists, whatever, right? And then when they speak, they don't have anything to support what they're saying. Now, I know some people going to say, well, how can you verify what Graham Hancock is saying? That's a great, valid point. That's a valid point. But what I see is a lot of the things he says that I've heard so far matches up with a lot of other things I'm hearing from other scientists or other, you know what I'm saying, physicists or whomever. So that's one thing I like about him is the evidence he provides in backing up his theories.
Adding further mystery to the monument's creation, Hancock also dismisses the notion that the pyramids were merely tombs for pharaohs. He believes they served a much grander yet unknown purpose, possibly spiritual or metaphysical in nature, with the king's chamber's resonant frequency potentially being part of an ancient yet advanced technology. Although his theories on the Great Pyramid of Giza have been criticized by mainstream archaeologists and Egyptologists, Hancock maintains that the monument's age, purpose, and construction are still shrouded in mystery. This mystery is a common thread in all his works, as he consistently questions established narratives and offers alternative perspectives on human history. Hancock.
Y'all see how they still continue to promote the visual of people. You seen them out there hammering and chiseling. You know what I mean? So we did that by hand. We did all of that by hand. Come on, man. Come on, man. There's no possible way, bro. If you look at a lot of the construction from back then and you look at some of those buildings and different things and those smooth 90-degree angle cuts and different things like that. So you think that was all done by this right here, this motion right here. Ain't no way. Me and you standing side by side. If we do this, our things are not going to be smooth. Yours is going to be different from mine. Mine is going to be different from yours. You know what I mean? And I'm terrible. I am not a carpenter, so I could only imagine what I would have did back there. They'd have definitely got me off the line.
Somebody, I believe, was mapping the world, was exploring the Earth during the Ice Age, and left us ancient maps that show features that only existed during the Ice Age. We have evidence that somebody, as yet unrecognized by archaeology, had the capacity to explore the world and to map the world during the last Ice Age. One of the things I find most striking is the presence of Antarctica on ancient maps, because we didn't discover it until 1820. And yet it's on maps drawn in the 1500s with great detail. The Orontius Phineas map. That map shows Antarctica exactly where it should be. And it shows it. Now, what the f is it doing?
And then y'all wonder why I always feel, and Queen asks me this too. She was like, why do you always feel like a lot of things is a lie or history could possibly be a lie? It's because you hear stuff like this, man. And the lies, the deceit, the deception, different things, man. It puts a sour taste in your mouth. It really does, bro. Because why? That's the question for me. It's always why. So that keeps me going, but let's go.
Doing on a map drawn in the 1500s, which we know was based on older source maps when nobody knew it existed in the 1500s. Somebody.
Or did somebody know? And they claim they didn't know. I don't know. I don't know. But I like I said, man, Y'all get at me in the comment section, bro, because I like the conversation that this type of stuff sparks in our brain, man. It keeps us trying to figure things out. And I think that's important. Let's figure this out, man. What are they not telling us, or what did they tell us is not true? A lot, apparently. But y'all also get at me in the comment section, man, and let me know if y'all want to go through some debunked videos. Who knows? That might be the next one I do. Y'all stick around and stay tuned, man. Till next one, I'm gone.